Hi, I'm Mutgren. Welcome to Dad's old shop. All my settings got fudged because it's been so long since the last stream. So I realized I started and then went to adjust things, which is the opposite way of what I should be doing. Oh God, I'm so far behind. Hmm. 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 Trying to get into something else, and I realize it's taking away my auto settings. I feel so vulnerable. Da da da. And setting. All right. All right. Okay. Excuse me while I clear my throat a little bit. All right. Now, I think I'm into everything I need to be into. Yikesy strikesy. I just did not focus good. Like at all. Still not particularly focused well. But we're going to take care of that in a second. I feel like they like hide the creator studio stuff. I feel so silly. I feel like such a boomer when I'm like, oh, what does my software do? All right. Okay. Now I got everything. All right. So this is going to be about an hour or so of spoon carving. I was late because I was finishing something up, and I still have to go to the gym tonight. But I had done a little bit more work to rough out the blank. I'm going to cut the tip here. This could use a little bit, but I'm going to focus on just the overall shape here. It's probably going to end up a little paddle shaped, which is fine. This is a practice spoon. I'm not a spoon man. Yeah. I was about to brush it with my hand, and I realized that would be a very silly thing to do. Thankfully, most of the stuff from last stream is still here. It's been a bit since last stream. It's not like a lot has happened. It's not like there's been a bunch of bad things. That's why I haven't streamed. It's just life gets busy. And that happens. So, I have a little bit of downtime today. So, just to keep stream cred. Drop in, work on a project so that I can go and eventually finish the work on the bellows. Because I want my space to be done and I don't want to be working on a practice spoon. Because, like, if I have very few things as sad as a practice spoon, I'm done. Like, spoon's not a ton of work. Like, I can't get that done. What am I doing? So, this is just rough. Another thing is this is a bit harder than usual, just because a lot of spoons are made out of green wood. And this is not green wood. This is thoroughly dry wood. So, that's why I'm using dry wood tools like saws. I did use a fair amount of axes and stuff, which is fine. But this is just a little bit quicker for now. Okay. I think I got one more cut here. And wife went out camping for a few days because daughter got spring break, so they needed something to do. I don't have the vacation time for that, which sucks, but they didn't take my camping knife. So I do have something to do some whittling with, which this will primarily do to get the shape once I get the bulk done, because I would be here all day trying to carve down to these lines. It's okay. I was like, it's a little bit shaky. What can I do? Oh, yeah. 3 points. Oh, no. Stop skipping out. Okay. Okay. There we go. Now we can just finish up this cut like this. And I'm so hungry, I didn't even get dinner. Part of it is when you have a spouse and they are away with a child and you are not, there's some tasks that they expect you to get done. It's not unfair. Not unfair at all. But I'm a procrastinator. And also, they're not gone as long as they think they are. But I don't want to disappoint. Is this a terrible way to saw? Yes. I was just looking at it on the preview, and I'm like, oh, God. It looks like an accident waiting to happen. Kind of is, but, yeah. There we go. And then here. And that last foxhole war came to an end. That was a large part of the time. I was really into that war. I spent many hours in that war, and it's a shame because that war was yucky. The update that they did, well, good in features, was not great in quality of life. So it's still not great. I'm currently playing in the current war, but it's like, you get an hour a night maybe. So I'm mostly just helping with Coalition. With off wars like this, the primary thing you do is you set up events and still keep stuff going so that you have a core going into the next war. Because people come and go, and that's fine. It's not an actual second job. So right now there's a lot of people that have been with the regiment for a while, and they're getting interviewed, reviewed, to seeing how they take this lighter war, and then go from there about promotions and stuff like that. Because we do need an officer corps. Which is really LARPy and sounds very try-hardy, but it is what it is. It's organizing. Any amount of organizing is hard. Can I split you yet? Yeah. Wait, no, am I overestimating my abilities? How dare I? Oh, I wasn't too far off, yeah. Oh, okay, that went around the back of the spoon. Oh, no, it's up there, okay. Those were there, that's good. And then we have something a little bit closer to the shape. I can probably rough out some of the corners a little bit. Actually, this definitely needs to get sharpened. So I'm going to stay outside that line and just kind of go around the perimeter, give myself an idea of the shape. I'm not going to be anywhere close to done on this first couple passes, but this is just to help get in my mind where we're going and what we're doing. So I'm just taking it and just putting it across, trying to keep my line. Kind of want to get a piece of leather just to have a little bit more cushion. I might when I go to sharpen this blade. It's not dull, but definitely ain't sharp. And as far as the bowl itself, I do have some gouge chisels that I plan to use. Not the correct chisel, but wood don't care how it got there. And it's not like dangerous to use. So this one, kind of want to go uphill. Yeah, poked me. Okay. So it doesn't take much, but even a little bit of rough and cuts get you into the mindset of what it's going to be. So I still need to cut this edge here. I wonder if I can do something really stupid. Like if I could just take this and pap this down. Nah, it's across the grain, it won't work. I mean, it will, but I'll either dent my table, dent my knife, or shatter that. That's just an annoying little thing. Dang it. Alright, now I'm considering it. Considering doing the stupid thing. Who would have guessed a small amount of inconvenience is all I need to be convinced of a bad idea. All right, we're gonna soft play it. That's just bad because it's not on a great surface. But just something like that. Let's see what it does. Okay, actually, it wouldn't have been too bad. Where's my X? Oh. Alright, this is a bit bigger. Bigger wedge, let's see. Well, it started to take it, and then it slid off. But that's fine. This is now easier to do the carve into. It did also take out a big chunk of the side. So, I was right about it not being a good idea. Vindication. There we go. Got more into volleyball as well. Got a new ball, which is great because it's not like getting great. Balls are like $70 or anything, but the place where I play switched the balls. Oh, this will be easy to split. Changed the ball that they used to a molten, and it feels like playing with a dodgeball. All right, let's see what shape the spoon is in after that. I thought this, okay. So it did what I wanted to. It went down, and then here it decided to just pitch out. So still fine because it's easier to get this off now. If I could take this big old chunk, there we go. There we go. It's fun to send stuff flying across the shop. Also, it hit up there, which is also needed. There we go. So, now it's just coming from the other side. So, I've been practicing with that because I cannot make that new ball float for nothing. Like, the one part of my game that was pretty reliable was serving. And now it's not, and that makes me mad. So that's what the gym is for tonight. In addition to, turns out I probably have a, what do you call it? Patellar tendinopathy, which is an inflammation of the tendon under your knee, which happens because you don't do a lot of activity and then you suddenly do a lot of activity. Like you go from not playing volleyball or moving around a lot to playing volleyball and moving around a lot. And while you lose 30 pounds, that's great, but that is a lot of extra weight that was on your body when you started. So tendons are slow to heal and change. They just don't get the same oxygenation. So you still have to, the annoying part is you still have to use it. Ow. Put that right in my hand. I'm fine. Let me do that again. I did that, jammed it in my hand, and then didn't change what I was doing. Ugh. All right, I'll learn one day. I'm talking too much. I'm thinking about stuff. But you still have to load it. Like, if I were just to rest and not continue to work out, it wouldn't get any better. Like, it would get better, and then as soon as I loaded it for anything, including, like, sports-related things, it would just go back to hurting, and then I'd be back at square one. So it's just, I had to take off volleyball this week just to give it some time. And I'll probably have to take one out of every, like, 3 or 4 weeks off, which is fine. A lot of times people take more than that, so. But, yeah, it's a shame. But the cost of activity. I mean, it benefits. Like, when I would, like, when the gym is full, I tend to just go on the treadmill, do a little bit of, you know, light jogging, mostly walking, just to get some activity, get some warm-up in. And when I first started going above 2 miles an hour, put my heart rate at, like, 150. And now it goes hardly into the 130s. So, much improvement, much improvement. Okay, so we have that side wall, we have this side wall. I'm about to take a sharpening break because I can feel that it wants to be sharper. Okay, it's like I want to cut downhill like that, but I know I will jam into my hand again like I did 5 minutes ago. And also, I might just, for the ease of it here, what is 90? This is probably 90. We're just going to wing it. This is probably close enough. Should I have it in a thingy to cut better, not vice? The other thing, ball thingy goes over there. I forget the name of the tool. Sure. So this is bigger than an eating spoon, but smaller than a big spoon because I am bad at ratios. But once again, it's fine. Practice. right into the camera. So let me go get my strop real quick. Oh, my card scraper. How'd you end up down there? Oh no, you're a sharpening plate. Never mind. That sound was a sharpening plate. Sorry. Where is leather strop? Leather strop, where strop? Where are you? I feel like you shouldn't be far. I feel like you should actually be like right here. Because like, I would have used you while I was sharpening the spoke shave. Oh no, what's that movie where the guy has amnesia and he's like finding clues about his life? I'm doing that. I'm like, what did I do last time? Oh, this plate will work. It's pretty high grit. Ain't perfect, but wrong side. Just something to keep the edge on it. What edge? I don't know. I don't know any of the angles or anything. I just kind of go until it's sharp. Okay. Man, I really wonder where that shop went. This is also just like a really tricky place to cut into. Because I want to do it from the other side, but then there's not a lot of room. And like, I really just don't have a lot to get into. Yeah, I guess this works. Now if I could stop cutting up the... I'm oversized on that. Never mind. I can cut into it. It's free. It's free real estate, baby. Another part is I gotta use my standing desk more as a standing desk. I have a standing desk for my office. And part of my job had me going from somebody who stood up a fair amount to somebody who just sits at a desk for 3 hours, takes a break, sits for another 4.5 hours. And that's a lot of practice and muscle memory that just gets lost. It's annoying, but... So getting some of that practice would be good. Just, you know, you're lazy. Like, I come home after work, and I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. Except, you know, hit a volleyball. But, like, gotta do the other work. Okay. So, see, we're getting there. It's just a hard drop-off from the previous cut that I made here. It's like, I want to reach for another tool to do this, but, like, the only really tool that I think would be useful would be a rasp, but I don't want to start rasping yet. Now I heard the Windows duped. I was like, what's happening? Because when I went to start, and why I was a little bit late was my internet was just down in my shop. For no reason, I just had to go restart the access port for it, but it's like, why are you down? Sorry, just trying to keep it on here. I just saw it on there. I love the Dad to the Bone shirt. This is something my mom got me for Father's Day. My mom just gets me novelty dad-based t-shirts. And, well, I think most people think they're pretty cringe. That's why I like them. They're super cringe. This one is Dad to the Bone. But I love the cringe. Well, somebody who doesn't seem funny, but is unintentionally funny. Sometimes she doesn't mean to be funny, and she just is. It's like my wife. My wife is unintentionally funny. I don't know if she's ever told a joke. Okay. Alright. And we definitely want to thin this. That's a lot to carve. What if I didn't have to carve it? What if I was super lazy and just put this down and grab like another tool? Oh, hey, how's it going, Sugi? Hopefully you're having a good evening. Just staring at this thinking, what? How can I cheat this? I think the answer is to use either a spoke shaver or draw knife. But question is, how do I set up the work holding for that? Also, I need to find this drop. Where did it go? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Where did it go? Did I take it upstairs? The other frustrating thing is I have like 3 of them. Because when I go to a woodworking store, I'm just like, oh, I always lose these. It's good to get another one. Lost another one. Self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what? We're going to cheat. We're going to cheat. What we're going to do. So I'm just going to undo my belt a little bit here. This is leather enough. I'm going to go get some compound. We're just going to use my belt. Oh, windy day. Well, I mean, you just put up a bunch of trellises and stuff. Are they good? So, let me at least get this on camera. I'm going to do something stupid with my belt. So, just hitting this with compound, just to help keep the edge a little bit sharper. A little bit of polish on it. Okay. Let me redo my belt here. That's a shame. We had a windstorm come through not too long ago. Maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But that axe throwing target that I have, the wind was so intense that it knocked that over. And that thing weighs 250, 300 pounds. Just, it's still on the ground. I haven't gotten outside to do that. I need to get out in the garden and stuff. But just wild. Just more winds, man. I feel like everything is just windier than it used to be. Like, I'm going to be a grumpy old man here. I know climate change, yada yada, but the big part is just like, for me anyway, is just wind. Wind does so much more damage. Maybe I'm just older and understand property value and how annoying property damage is and stuff, but like, man, probably grown up sucks. Where you're just like, something breaks you, like, you can go, ah, it's my problem. I don't want it to be my problem. Like, don't get me wrong, love home ownership. Glad I'm lucky enough to be in this position, but it sounds like that where I'm misrenting is somebody else's problem. Whether they did something about it was something else entirely, though. Okay. Alright, I think that's pretty good. So now I think the only outstanding part is just, I'm going to just kind of do that, even though I can't really see it. Oh no, I can see it. Let me go not too hard, because I don't want to kind of run away and flat my hand. Just kind of getting that much off of that side. I don't know if you can see that super well. Probably not. Yay, adulthood. Gonna jam it in here and just keep pulling. Just to give myself a better shade. This is not the exact line, but it's pretty close. Okay. So we want to get that off. I can just take in a little notch in here and make that even bigger. It's part of my lighting situation. It's just I gotta blow everything out with light. Otherwise I get a lot of wonky shadows. Okay, so focus that line there that I made there. So there's 2 ways. There's the gentle way, and then there's the not gentle way. Both ways involve me doing work holding. Let's put this to the side for now. Let me definitely something like this. Let me get this knife over here. So definitely using the spoke shave. Okay, I think I got it. Still gotta go get dinner. I get dinner before I go to the gym. Hungry. Oh, cool. That even faces where I need a face. Okay, cool. Never mind. This all works out. Once I get this out of the way. Wait, why are you not flat? Oh, because the bottom of the spoon's sticking out. I'm the problem. I always also forget which way these turn. There we go. Oh, also that these wedge it, so let me just get this up here. You're better. Okay. And then gotta get that squeezed tight, and then we're gonna bring on a hold fast. And a scrap piece to hit this hold fast into so I don't super damage this clamp. I use this doe's foot because it's made out of scrap wood. Always make a new one. And is this in frame? Sort of. Enough. Okay, perfect. This is so tall, my hold fast is actually a problem. Let me see if I can seat it better. There we go. There we go. I just had to hold it to seat it. Oh! I now see another problem. I mean, I guess it works, but it kind of hurts my hand. Also, which way? Was this the upstream or downstream? Okay. So if I go down this way. Just this hold fast is in the way. Yeah. Yeah. Work holding is just the least glamorous part of woodworking. Maybe if I just turn the camera a little bit. Okay, perfect. It's just the least glamorous part by like a country mile. Oh, immediately just jammed in this hold fast. Or this doe's foot. Alright, and it's kind of off, but that's fine. Alright, this should be better. I went the wrong way again. There we go. So spoke shave is nice, but gives very thin, small levels of cut. It also gets jammed like this, which is fine. Because it leaves a pretty nice finish. Like, it's not project ready, but it's close. I'm also eventually going to be using a rasp. I don't know if I can see a way around using it. Fair amount here, and it's still enough to make me want to use draw knife. But this is just such an awkward angle to use it at. Like, the angle is just awkward itself. I can always flip around, but like, oops, all awkward. Oh, or I just jam it right into a hold fast, which is, you know, cash money of me. Ah, a lot of force. Knock the hold fast out. There we go. I don't know if I can go the other way, if that makes it any better. Oh, no, way worse. I have to use such a high angle of attack. I guess if it was really, like, figured wood, that might be helpful to be that high angle, but... Alright. If I was not a hand tool woodworker, this is where I would cheat and use a router. Routers are amazing for patterns. Alright, so let me see where I'm at my line. Okay, I'm pretty close up here. want to do it this way to face the camera, but you know, knock my knuckles right into that hold fast. Get this clear. Okay. It also looked like Battletech's getting a new update for its starter set, which is good. Me and my friend were looking at it. It was like, oh, this is actually just a lot of the optional rules that we've been using. They're just codifying them. It's good. Those are the funner parts of the game. The base game is a little and I don't understand people who play Alpha Strike. I mean, I guess I can understand wanting a simpler thing, but to me, Battletech just is a game of charts. Love the charts. Give me more charts. I mean, I know they're reducing that and also stuff, because it does get sometimes slow, but, like, that's the point. It's kind of RPG-like. Like, it's not like a competitive war game. Like, I was talking to him about stuff that, like, I'm not a huge fan of in it. It's like, yeah, I don't like this stuff, because when you're going to play at a table, people are going to bring it because it's competitive. But if you're in a scenario where it shows up, or as a reward for a scenario that you win, or, you know, as compensation for something, that's pretty cool to see it. Talk about precision ammo for that specific one. Yeah, math. Man, so in Pathfinder this week, we've been playing Savage Tides, which is like an old, very old adventure path from like the early days. And we had our first almost TPK. Actually, we've had a couple almost TPKs. Basically, we convinced people to run away so it wasn't a TPK. So we can tell the other table that my friend is running it for, because he's running it for 2 tables simultaneously, that we still haven't had a TPK. Pretty close, though. I lost my character. I do want him back at some point. We'll see what we can do about that. Okay, this needs to come in on this side. Ugh. I really hollowed out part of it, huh? But as part of it, I went from playing my character, who had 4 classes, including the Prestige class that he's part of. A character that was so complicated, I had to, every time he got hit, had to update hit points in 3 separate places. So that if something ended, one of the effects that gave me hit points or something like that, I could find it in a different way, or if I had damage to a stat or something. So like this sheet was also an info hazard. Whenever I sent it to anybody else in our group, it would crash parts of their computer. I sent it to my friend, and he had deadlock crash on him. Just apropos of nothing. Because somehow, it, like, uses all the system resources that it can. Like, it uses way more RAM than it needs to. Now, I just get to play Mesmerist, which is, silly. But it is 1 sheet, 1 class. It is so much easier. I went through and was like, what do I do? Like I know I have like 3 things that I'm good at. What do I do? Because it's just not cognitive overload every time. Also kind of sad because like the reason why I made that so complicated was he was a big old generalist. He was a barbarian that had magic, divine magic. So he had a lot of upside to him. I shouldn't have taken that. I got gung-ho about these cuts. Okay, and also, if it could stop riving itself, I just want to take little chips. Stop giving me more. Stop giving me more. That's fine. We'll buff that out. So instead of just a big corner there, and I think I'm just going to use a rasp for that. Yeah, we're just going to rasp that. But it's just so much easier. Look at this character, just go, man, I just do this. Although it's great because all of us are just tired of things being able to avoid us. So one of the person picked a Void Wizard. I picked a Mesmerist. And somebody else picked a Cleric? No. Fighter Archer. So it turns out we all went debuffers. So an enemy walks up to us and gets a -20 to hit because we look at him. I give -3 plus a bunch of other stuff. The Void Wizard gives like -7, and we trip and tangle. It's going to be brutal. I mean, we're going to have trouble with just top flight damage to deal with stuff, but the things that fight us are going to be absolutely miserable. as they don't get to play the game. You're even talking about going and getting items like Tanglefoot bags just to really make sure that enemies don't have a chance to bother us. All right. So I just have a half moon rasp here. Actually, I'll probably start with the Shinto and then go to the half moon just because the Shinto's faster. All right, what's the fine side? Here we go. The thing is just, I like rasps, they're really good, but the reason why I try to hold off on them is they're one of the few hand tools that makes fine dust. Okay, a little bit more. Okay. That should be enough for the Shinto rasp. Well, I'm definitely going to have to bring it out later, especially for the shaping on the top and stuff, but good for now. Now we're going to kind of dig into this little crevasse here, and I'm going to start that by just using the edge of it here, and then flipping it over the other side just to create like a divot well to kind of work towards. Because this profile is probably pretty close to what I need, as long as I use the front part of it. So I can always make it wider by using the back part. Yeah. Oh, nope is such a strong word. Like, in tabletop games, the ability to do something without a check is maybe the strongest thing. And it could be innocuous things. Like, if you had the ability to turn something or a spot of something blue at will, and it's permanent, that power is so amazing, and you just don't realize it. Like, I had a character from a couple games ago, and it was an Ifrit. Everybody thought he was a dwarf because, I don't know, I thought it was funny. But his big thing was being fast, which Ifrits are. So, as part of this, you choose Ifrit powers, like stuff from your realm and all that, Plane of Fire. So I picked, I rolled randomly, because I love rolling randomly. My table hates it, because they're like, you always get bad on it, and I'm like, yeah, but I have fun. So I rolled randomly on this table, and the ability that I got was, because of my genetic attunement to the sun, I can always perfectly pinpoint in the sky where the sun, I can always perfectly pinpoint where the sun is. So at the beginning, when the game started, it was a joke, because I was, a miner, somebody who, mines gems and ores. And it was, useful because I knew what time it was. I could always tell what quitting time was. But I remember we were stuck someplace, and we were like trying to figure it out, and they're like, nothing's working. It's like, are we on a different plane? And everyone's like, no. And it's like, there's no way to tell. And I'm like, wait, where's the sun? And Jimmy goes, you don't know. It's like, oh, easy. We're not anywhere near a sun. If it was on a place where the sun that I'm attuned to exists, yeah, I would know where it was. But nope. Also, because if you know roughly what hemisphere you're in, you can figure out, like, how far you've moved based on where the sun is from the previous day. And so, like, you could do all sorts of little stuff like that. And that power, which my GM emphatically offered to let me reroll for one of the cooler ones, turned out to be one of the, like, just greater character moments, I think, in that setting. Not that the character was good. He was a dragon racist, but, I've played so many RPGs. I'm done with playing fighter, wizard, rogue. I need weird. Like, the character that died was a lacrosse coach. He was an arena fighter at his day job, but his passion was a lacrosse, and he just did youth league lacrosse to stop gang violence. And that was his whole thing. I was even partially managing a league in another city, setting up new ones. Like, I just need. Also, I was a ship captain. I have jobs. That's my type, is I just have jobs. The character that I'm building is a snake man, or that I have now, the mesmerist, is a snake man named Seth, who also has a speech impediment, which is funny to me because the accent is terrible. I don't even think I should try it on stream because it's garbage. But also, it's, are you lisping or are you a snake man? And that's a rude question to ask somebody you just met. So I plan to be very rude to NPCs. Because, you know, he's Seth. And I'm sure he'll die, because, boy, I rolled hit points, and while I rolled 4 above average, I also rolled stats, which is atypical. But con ended up being a pretty low one, because I rolled straight line. Once again, DM told me I could choose where I wanted to put stuff, but I told him, no, the dice want what the dice want. This is a Shinto Rasp situation. I see how far I am off that line. Shinto Rasp, here we go. I'm getting hungry. I can feel it. Feel it in my tummy. So, stop popping up. There we go. So, Shinto Rasp come with 2 sides. We're going to use the big side now, and hope that I don't get too much breakout. That's the hard part about the rasp when you're using the big side, is it will blow out. So you can kind of curb your bets by like grinding a chamfer here, just so there's less hard edges to like blow out. But that is just inherently a risk of using a bigger side. Holy timekeeping, Batman. Yeah, you're right. But good powers. Like, the blue thing was an object. So Numenera is a post-apocalyptic sort of science fantasy RPG made by Monty Cook Games. Numenera. Hey, how you doing, Steve? Steve? Doing good, doing good. Numenera's big thing is your character is defined by a sentence. It's like, I am an X that does Y. I'm a guardian of towns that walks on water or something. So it's a really simple game. The enemy stat blocks when I ran Society for that were like less than a paragraph. But Numenera's catch is that you are on the 8th world. 9th world? 9th world. It's Earth, but you've gone through 8 apocalypses prior, and you are fighting the remnants of 8 other intergalactic other civilizations, and you don't know how anything works. You are thoroughly inundated with relics of a vast time for physiologies not of your own. So things that seem powerful might not be, and vice versa, so you just have no clue. So the game, instead of giving loot and having static items, I mean, there's a couple, but they have a deck of cards. And there is like a slot and then a like D3. And it's like it makes you roll items all generally and random. So like, one was a singularity grenade that somebody used to great effect at the end of a scenario. One was an eyepiece that turned things blue, which people used to find out when somebody was being body swapped. And that just happened. So like, that game is great. I think you can still find the Society modules up for free. And I think the entire season fit in a booklet that was like, I think I printed it about this big, and it was like maybe 20 pages. It is a lot of freeform, but Numenera is a great game. I have a great time, and I still use the decks when I do Pathfinder, because I'll use that as inspiration for making items. And I've gotten some of my friends to do that too, because just the decks are good. Like, Monty Cook Games, they do good games. Not everything is my speed, but like, the creative idea behind them is generally pretty solid, and the company is not garbage. Which is something you have to be aware of. Like, for a while there was a company that was really hard in Starfinder. Because I had one of the big Starfinder Kickstarters after the game had released. And it was for an alternate setting called Grimmer Space. And its big pull was that one of the producers of The Hobbit and what was his name? Wesley Snipes had backed the project. And it was like, what? What does Wesley Snipes care about TTRPGs? No shade to him. He can like what he likes. And I remember seeing some interviews with the lead on it. I think his name was like Ray Aresta, who had done other developing. I forget what he did, but they hit the goal. They did a bunch of follow-up, and then went dark as not just the Kickstarter money dried up, but apparently Wesley Snipes realized what it was and pulled out, as did everybody else, because it was a setting without a home, basically. It was a alternate setting for a game system. And I think people thought it was a new RPG, which it was not. It did have some alternate rules, but it was not enough to be its own. So people were trying to get on the ground level the next D&D instead of realizing, oh, this is an alternate setting. So that man misled people. And I don't see his name too often anymore on role-playing game products. Just the way it is. Like, they're in the space role-playing games, there's also people that are just kind of like jerks. But you could be a jerk as long as you're not like a complete... How do I say this? The tabletop setting community will put up with a lot if you're not racist, sexist, transphobic, xenophobic, etc. So there's some people who are not nice, but also aren't terrible. And those people continue to get work, which, once again, basically, until we get better options, they're going to continue to get work. But, they're not terrible as people. They're just kind of unpleasant to deal with. Which is, I don't know. Maybe that's a good problem. Maybe that's an old problem. I feel like that's a 90s problem. What I'd give for 1990s problems, man. Those are some simple problems. Like I knew one guy. I'm not gonna out him by name because that's just inappropriate. Like, he has very good reasons to be kind of grumpy. I'm not gonna say that he has no reason to be grumpy, but you do probably shouldn't be grumpy to people that didn't just mess up your career earlier, right? Not everybody's part of that system. And to be frustrated at them where they got the easy path while you got screwed sucks. But maybe you don't take that out on them. Also, maybe you pay people better, but I could also assume that you don't have a ton to pay people, but you are doing it for the love of the game, and it's a skill that you have and you want to keep using. I'm just trying to keep this from sliding down. I'm having issues with this sliding down while I'm trying to use the rasp to get the shape in a bit better. Come on. But yeah, Numenera, highly recommend. Very good game, very fun. I think the last session we did for our season finale was somebody running into a giant forgotten spore creature with a singularity bomb, killing their character, but also dealing with that because the text for the singularity bomb is, yeah, it's a miniature black hole, unless the thing you're throwing it at somehow survives black holes. Everything in a 20-foot radius just event horizons and goes away. So that was a great way to end a season of Society. I've actually been doing some Starfinder Society as well. Starfinder Society First Edition was very good. The adventures themselves can be purchased for maybe about $5. I'm a huge Paizo shill, not necessarily because I like everybody there. I think most people are fine. Yeah, when the lore back then. Yeah, the good old days. The good where you could like make rent off of a part-time job and all sorts of good stuff in the 90s. But Paizo, as opposed to a company like Wizards of the Coast, gives you content. Paizo in general, for both of their games, if you combine them, they're big ones, writes 3 or 4 adventures every month for them. In a certain level range, it's usually like a pretty narrow level range, like 2 or 3 levels. But those are available for under $8, and only one person technically needs to buy them to run them. So, at a lot of places where they do organized play, if you want to do like Pathfinder, Starfinder organized play, the event organizers will have copies of those. In fact, for people that run those lodges, they get those for free. So you can, most stuff is considered always available. So you don't even technically need to own the books. There is some stuff, I think, in certain Splat books that might trigger that, but anything from like your basic rule books, like your big hardcover ones, that's just available online on their database. Archives and F is through a guy's named Blake. Blake? Either way, he's cool. Oh, that was loud. And you could just run with that and you get so much content out of it. So the first two seasons of Starfighter Society were great. They did a great job setting up the setting, which is redundant in wordplay, but kind of what to expect of. This is a place of cantinas and dreams, and yeah, there's going to be some scary parts, but like this is ultimately a Star Trekky hopeful vision of the future, not a total dystopia, grimdark experience, which I think is kind of overplayed now. Like, one of the scenarios was they needed to rebalance medicinals in the game, because stuff like medicines, basically, were just kind of too expensive for what they were worth. So they made a whole scenario around you going and disposing, not like killing, but like shaming / exposing corruption among big pharma in the setting, which ended up with the retcon change in pharmaceutical prices for the game going forward. Also, for Starfinder Society, every 3 years they elect a new Seeker, which is like their faction leader for the Starfinder Society, and those are player characters. So once you get like to a high enough level, you can submit records of what your character did, you write up a little blurb, and then the team goes through and sees what kind of fits their vision, and then they pick 4, and then the community votes. So if you play enough Starfinder, you can even have a chance to become a canon character in it as a thing. And it's not like, oh, hey, this is cool. It's like you get put in a lot of things because you are the Captain Kirk. So even though it's a big world, a lot of things will run through your character. And that's just, once again, something cool that you don't see other companies do. So I was jabbering. We have this in a much better state now. This is much more spoon-like, I think. Is it even? No, but we're not gonna focus too hard on that. We are getting up on the hour, so the next goal will be to flatten this, because we have a couple, like, what do you call that? Like ridges here. That up here is fine, but down here on the handle is not, and the handle will swoop down a little bit, so like some of that will be covered. But like the rim here kind of sucks. So probably actually better to work on the handle. Get that pretty close. Finish, stop rounding it like what I'm looking here. Where's my knife? Where's my knife? Knife shouldn't go missing. It's bad when knives go missing. Then you sit on them. Oh, there it is. So the idea is to take a scoop out here. So I'm going to go back from the line. Do this gently to not ram it through my hand, because I don't want to go to the ER or have to make a compress. Not compress, bandage. You know what I mean. All right. So that's gross looking, but it's going to be cut anyway. So we're going to make a little collar here that will extend down the rest of it, and it'll probably be about when all is said and done in width. Sorry, I was too close. But we're going to make a little collar, get down to that. This will probably end up being spoke shave work. If I use the draw knife on that, I know I'm going to just break it in half as I find the space between 2 layers and pop this thing apart like a acorn. So that'll be spoke shave work, which is pretty nice. And then it's just refining the shape. And it's okay if it's lumpy, it's just me. But yeah, we've made really good progress. So I think with that, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you for joining me. I've been Mutgren Oatwald, and yeah, I will try to get out a stream next week. We'll see. We just had a lot of stuff come up at once, and I need to get into the garden and start that whole process, including turning over the soil and all that. So definitely, if not next week, then the week after. So I'll put something up, and once again, thank you for joining me, and have a good evening.